Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Will and welcome to Copper Jacket TV. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. So today we have some legitimately huge Supreme Court news that we need to talk about. You know, for far too long the Second Amendment has been treated like a second-class right. From administration to administration and state to state, we've ended up with this terrible patchwork of laws that has twisted and distorted our rights to a point where it's hardly even recognizable anymore. Well, we now have an unbelievable chance to fix that because the Supreme Court has just decided to review 3 massive 2A cases in one day. And these 3 deal with some of the biggest issues of our time: mag bans and semi-auto bans. So let's get into it, talk about what they are and what's at stake. Now, real quick before we get started, this video is sponsored by the King of Armor, RMA Armament. For those of you who are not aware, RMA has discontinued their entire men's lineup of plates in favor of the new, stronger, more durable, lightweight, and thinner plate called the 1165 Gen 2, which uses the new highly upgraded 99.7% high pure alumina oxide for its ultra high purity ceramic strike face, which is significantly stronger than the old ceramic strike face. And believe it or not, this new plate is only about 3/4 of an inch thick, and the 10x12 cut comes in at only 5.5 pounds, which is crazy light for a plate with an NIJ RF3 rating. Now, you've probably seen your favorite creators like Mr. Guns and Gear and Mac demonstrate the performance of this new plate that can stop M193, M855, 76239 API, even 30-06 M2 AP. Also, if you've been holding off for a good time to grab plates, now is definitely your time. RMA is already running their Black Friday event where I found some plates up to half off. So get your 100% American-made RMA plates today. I'll put the details down below. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So as I'm sure most of you know, this is a very nerve-wracking time for our rights. After the beginning of the year when we saw both Snope and Ocean State get denied by the Supreme Court, it left a lot of us hanging our heads, realizing that they may never take a case regarding mag bans or semi-auto bans, or at least that's how it felt. Then we got our hopes up again after reading what Justice Kavanaugh wrote about the denial of those 2 cases. He basically said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the Supreme Court should and would presumably take an AR-15 case within the next term or 2. Well, when he said that, he actually referenced one of the cases that we're going to be talking about today. So like I was saying in the beginning, the Supreme Court has decided to review 3 major 2A cases all on the same day. That day is December 5th, so right around the corner. Now, in no particular order, the first case up for review is going to be Duncan v. Bonta. You might remember I made a video talking about how Duncan was scheduled for conference on November 21st, then it got rescheduled, and we weren't sure when it was going to be rescheduled for. Turns out it's been rescheduled for December 5th. Duncan is a case out of the state of California challenging its ban on magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds. This case presents 2 questions to the court. 1, are these magazines protected by the Second Amendment? And 2, has California violated the takings clause by banning them without compensation of any kind? Now, Duncan is one of the most fully developed mag ban cases that has ever been before the Supreme Court. And while some people are still skeptical that they'll take it, I'm trying to stay optimistic because the effect of them not taking it is so bad that I honestly don't even want to think about it right now. Now, the next case is actually one out of the state of Washington, and it was not decided by a circuit court. It was actually decided by the state Supreme Court, and this case is called Gators Custom Guns v. Washington. This is another big magazine ban case where the question that is presented to the court is whether ammunition feeding devices with the capability of holding more than 10 rounds are arms presumptively entitled to the Constitution's protection under the plain text of the Second Amendment. So this is another excellent case with the capacity to end mag bans nationwide. So now we have 2 very good cases, both being reviewed on the same day, December 5th. Now, this last case is the one that was directly mentioned by Kavanaugh as an ongoing case that the Supreme Court may consider in the next term. Well, the next term is here, and so is this case. It's an FPC and 2AF case called Viramontes v. Cook County. This is a case with some real teeth coming out of the state of Illinois. In this case, the question that is presented to the Supreme Court is whether the Second and 14th Amendments guarantee the right to possess AR-15 platform and similar semi-automatic rifles. Very simple and to the point. This would be a great case for the Supreme Court to take and would finally end all of these bans nationwide. Because, it's clear to the rest of us that they are arms and therefore fall under the Constitution's protections. But for some reason, these states and localities get away with banning them. So it's imperative that the Supreme Court take this case and end this infringement. So that's 2 mag ban cases and 1 semi-auto ban case being reviewed on this same day, which is massive. Now, when the Supreme Court conferences cases, they basically review all the cases that have been conferenced for that day to determine whether or not they're going to accept them or deny them. They have other options, like they could GVR it, which means grant, vacate, then remand back down to the lower court, or they can push it off to the next conference day. But typically, it means that they're going to either accept it or deny it. We usually find out the following Monday, but sometimes we do find out early, and we could find out early here. But it is imperative that the Supreme Court take at least one of these cases, because honestly, they could answer all of the questions that have been presented here with just one of these cases. So as long as we can get them to take one of these cases, that would be huge for the Second Amendment, and I believe a massive win. So we're going to be watching these things very closely as they go down the line to see what they do. There is a chance, probably a better than normal chance, that they're going to push these off to the next conference. But I'm still hopeful that we could see as early as the following week one of these cases be accepted. So we'll see what happens. We're going to stay on top of it, and I'll let you guys all know what's going on. If you guys want to follow these as close as I do, make sure you hit that little alarm bell. That'll notify you when new videos come out. If you want to support this channel, one of the best ways you can do that is simply by hitting that subscribe button. Thumbs ups are always appreciated. And if you guys enjoy content like this, let me know down in the comment section. I do appreciate it. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day.